As you all know, this is Prime Minister's first visit after the first visit to the United States after the inauguration of President Trump for a second term. And as I had mentioned earlier as well, the fact that this visit is taking place within just 3 weeks and a bit of the inauguration is a signal of the priority that both leaders attach to the India-US relationship. Prime Minister arrived in Washington, D.C. yesterday evening. He was hosted at Blair House, and he had a number of engagements on arrival yesterday. The newly confirmed Director of National Intelligence, Ms. Tulsi Gabbard, paid a call on the Prime Minister. This morning, the Prime Minister received Mr. Elon Musk and Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy as well. The discussions at the White House began this afternoon and went on for nearly 4 hours, comprising discussions in a restricted format, in the press conference, and an extended discussion over dinner with larger delegations. The discussions covered a lot of ground. The entire gamut of the relationship, ranging from strategic and security cooperation, defense, trade and economic engagement, technology, energy security and people-to-people linkages, as well as regional and global issues of concern were dealt with. There is a joint statement that has been issued. I think it's not yet available online, so let me take you through some of the key aspects of the joint statement, but I would urge you to go through the joint statement in some detail because it's a really rich and substantive statement and lays down the blueprint for the near and medium-term future of the India-US relationship. The two leaders jointly launched the US-India Compact for the 21st century. This compact stands for catalyzing opportunities in military partnership, accelerated commerce and technology. In the area of trade and investment, for instance, the leaders launched Mission 500, aiming to more than double total two-way trade to $500 billion by 2030. The two leaders also announced plans to negotiate the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trade agreement by the fall of 2025 towards advancing this process. And this issue did figure in some detail in the discussions as well. Both countries will take an integrated approach to strengthen bilateral trade across the goods and services sector. This will include themes such as increasing market access, reducing tariff and non-tariff barriers, and deepening supply chain integration between the two countries. There is also a renewed commitment to making greenfield investments in high-value industries in each other's countries, and you will see in the joint statement references to investments in excess of $7 billion made by Indian companies such as Novelis, Jindal Steelworks, Jubilant, and Epsilon. Defense, as was pointed out by both leaders, remains a very important area of cooperation in the strategic partnership between the two countries. The leaders announced plans to finalize a new 10-year framework for the US-India major defense partnership in the 21st century. This is a framework that will run from 2025 to 2035 and is expected to be finalized later this year. They also agreed to move forward on ongoing defense procurement negotiations for a number of platforms, including land and air systems, as well as co-production agreements. There was also agreement to initiate discussions on the reciprocal defense procurement agreement. One of the striking aspects of the joint statement in this regard is a process that the United States will begin, whereby it will review its arms transfer regulations, including the international traffic in arms regulations, in order to streamline defense trade, technology exchange, and maintenance, spare supplies, and in-country repair and overhaul of U.S.-provided defense systems. The two countries have also launched the Autonomous Systems Industry Alliance to scale industry partnerships and production of autonomous systems, which will foster next-generation defense and technological collaboration, specifically in the field of underwater domain awareness. You're also aware that for the last several years, technology has become a motive of the India-US partnership, and the two leaders in this latest round of discussions committed to taking forward cooperation in critical and emerging technologies by launching the US-India Trust Initiative. The Trust Initiative stands for Transforming the Relationship Utilizing Strategic Technology. This initiative will catalyze collaboration among governments, academia, and the private sector to drive innovation in defense, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, quantum computing, biotechnology, energy, and space. Artificial intelligence is on everybody's mind. We just had the AI Action Summit in Paris, which the Prime Minister had co-chaired. And in today's discussions, the leaders committed to bring Indian and US private industry together and conclude a US-India roadmap on accelerating AI infrastructure by the end of the year. Both the countries will work together to enable industry partnerships and investments in next-generation data centers, on access to compute and processors for artificial intelligence. The two leaders launched Indus Innovation, a new innovation bridge that is modeled after the successful Indus X platform for defense applications. Indus Innovation is meant to focus on space, on energy, and other emerging technologies. A new US-India cooperative program to recover and process critical minerals, a strategic mineral recovery initiative, has also been launched. Under the Trust Initiative, incidentally, the two sides will also address export controls, enhance high-technology commerce, and reduce barriers to technology transfer between the two countries. In the energy area, this is a subject that has remained in focus in the bilateral relationship in the recent years. India is a significant buyer of US energy, and today's discussions covered a lot of ground on this particular subject. And in order to ensure energy security, the two countries agreed to work together on the production of hydrocarbons and for commerce in hydrocarbons to support global energy price stability and secure affordable energy access. In addition, there was agreement to realize the potential in the area of civil nuclear energy, building US-designed nuclear reactors in India, and taking forward that process also through large-scale localization as well as technology transfer. And of course, the two countries have been discussing for some time cooperation in small modular reactors, and that is again something that was flagged today. The obstacles in realizing this cooperation in previous years on account of some of the legal provisions that have remained in place in India have already begun to be addressed. You would have noticed the announcements that have been made in the budget in this regard. And we imagine that these progress on these issues will enable us to realize the promise of cooperation between India and the United States in this very important sector. A new partnership has been launched between the U.S. National Science Foundation and the brand new Indian Anusandhan, which is the National Research Foundation, for deepening research linkages in critical and emerging technologies. There's an MOU that was signed between the NSF and the ANRF just a couple of days back to take forward this cooperation. On the people-to-people front, finally, you're aware there are nearly 300,000 Indian students studying in the United States, and the contribution of these students, especially to the U.S. economy, was acknowledged in the joint statement. The leaders agreed to strengthen collaboration between higher education institutions of the two countries, and India invited the United States to take advantage of the reforms in the Indian education sector to set up offshore campuses of premier educational institutions of the U.S. in India. They also committed to streamline avenues for legal mobility of students and professionals, and facilitating short-term tourist and business travel, while at the same time committing to aggressively addressing and tackling illegal immigration and human trafficking. I would also invite your attention to the parts of the joint statement where you can see a commitment from both sides to take decisive action against elements who threaten public and diplomatic safety and security, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of both nations. There's a commitment to strengthening law enforcement cooperation in this regard, and this is especially significant from our perspective, given some events that have taken place. Last point relates to the deepening strategic convergences between the two countries on regional and global issues, and this is something that came through clearly in the discussions today between the Prime Minister and President Trump. Whether it is the shared vision for the Quad, India will be hosting the Quad summit later this year, and the Prime Minister has extended an invitation to President Trump for that, or the commitment to increasing our collaboration with partners in West Asia, or in enhancing cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. The two leaders agreed to convene partners under the IMEC initiative, as well as the I2U2 construct within the next 6 months to announce new initiatives. They also launched the Indian Ocean Strategic Venture, a new bilateral forum to advance coordinated investments in connectivity and commerce in this region. All in all, I would say that though short, this was an extremely substantive and productive visit. It allowed two leaders who know each other well, who are comfortable with each other, to renew their contacts from President Trump's first term, and to commit themselves to greater things in the relationship. The mood in the room today and the overall environment of the meetings today lent great confidence to both sides that the relationship is on a solid footing and there is much to achieve in the coming months and years. Let me stop there and take a few questions.
We have time just for a few questions, so please bear it with us. Yoshita.
Thank you. Yoshita Singh with Press Trust of India. On the issue of the deportation of illegal immigrants, was that issue raised the way they were brought to India in the military aircraft and shackled? And what was the Trump administration response on that? And also on Tahavur Rana, is there a time frame or timeline by when he will be extradited to India? Thank you.
Mr. Sukhpal, yeah, please.
Sukhpal Singh Dhanoa. If you don't mind, can I ask you in Hindi? It will be easy for my audience to understand what I am going to ask.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Sir, मेरा question नहीं है. This is a concern for both the countries. In present situation, as we saw a major shift in U.S. immigration policy, तो इंडिया ने सबसे पहले वेलकम किया कि अगर वो हमारे लोगों को डिपोर्ट करते हैं जो इलीगल आए हैं यहाँ, तो उनको हम वापस लेने के लिए तैयार हैं. इन दिस सिचुएशन अगर कभी आने वाले समय में, क्योंकि अब तो मीटिंग हो चुकी है और भी बातें चलती रहेंगी, अगर हम अमेरिका में देखें तो यहाँ जो फार्मर्स हैं वो ज़्यादातर कैलिफोर्निया में सिख फार्मर है, इंडियन फार्मर्स हैं, और जो यहाँ की ट्रकिंग इंडस्ट्री है वो डोमिनेट करती है बाय सिख्स और पंजाबीज. तो इन दोनों जगहों पे प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन में बहुत ज़रूरत होगी अमेरिका को, जो अगर वहाँ से इंडिया से हम लीगल वे से नहीं भेज सकते तो सीजनल लेबर जो है वहाँ से ट्रकिंग इंडस्ट्री एंड रिलेटेड टू फार्मर्स, तो वहाँ से अगर ये पॉसिबल हो सके दोनों देश आपस में बात करें, दैट विल बी विन विन सिचुएशन फॉर बोथ द कंट्रीज. थैंक यू सो मच.
Parikshit.
Foreign Secretary, we saw how President Trump said that U.S. is going to increase military sales to India by billions of dollars this year, also paving the way for sale of F-35s to India eventually. Have we agreed to purchase F-35s from America?
Vishnu, yeah.
Good evening, Foreign Secretary. This is Vishnu from South Asian Herald. What is the expected timeline for bilateral trade agreements between the two administrations that can pave a way to reduce the trade deficit and promote a fair and expanded trade partnership? The second question is, given the ongoing frictions on trade and tariffs, do you believe the Quad, I2U2 and IMEC will serve as a unifying factor between the both administrations? Thank you.
So I think we can take it. I think let's collect all the questions and I'll do it in one.
Okay. Please.
Sam Shubhendu from DT India. How is India to interpret President Trump's statement on India's neighborhood, Bangladesh?
Okay. Question here, yeah, please.
Yeah. Well, my question.
Just hang on.
Yeah.
Can you repeat your Bangladesh question? So how is India to interpret President Trump's statement on the situation in Bangladesh? He said that I leave it to the Prime Minister.
How is India going to respond to President Trump's proposal that he could mediate between India and China over territorial disputes and skirmishes?
Sriram.
President Trump spoke about reciprocal tariffs at the press conference. Is it your understanding that these will be on hold until the trade deal with the U.S. is negotiated? That's question one. And secondly, he mentioned reducing the deficit through energy purchases. Is India treating this taking this literally, or as an encouragement to purchase more energy from the United States? Thank you.
Geeta.
President Trump on extradition said that Tahavur Rana will be extradited, but there are more to follow because there are many requests from India. Could you just tell us what are the requests from India? Are there any more names that you've given to the Americans?
Manish.
सर मैं मनीष हूँ TV9 भारतवर्ष से प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप उदाहरण दे रहे थे कि बहुत से जो अमेरिकन प्रोडक्ट है उस पर 30-40% से लेकर 70% तक टैरिफ है उन्होंने अमेरिकन कार का हवाला दिया तो क्या हम भारत की तरफ से इस पर एक कोई जस्टिफिकेशन दिया गया या फिर हम अमेरिका को कोई रियायत देने के लिए जा रहे हैं
प्लीज
Chidu Rajkata, Times of India. FS, can you give us a sense of what you thought of the very discordant note throughout the day President Trump struck on the tariff issue? He mentioned it several times. And also his smackdown on BRICS.
So you can take these questions.
He also kind of said something to the effect of BRICS is dead or dying.
Let me try and address. I think some of the questions and concerns are common, but insofar as the issue of illegal immigration is concerned, yes, it did figure during the discussions today, and the Prime Minister said, as I think he mentioned during the press conference as well, and during the discussions also he said that India has made its stand very clear that if there are illegal immigrants proven to be Indian citizens in any country abroad, we will take them back. But he did emphasize, and again, I think he referred to this in his remarks at the press conference, but even during the discussions, he did emphasize that the return of illegal immigrants is not the end of the story. There is an ecosystem that thrives on this racket and that promotes and enables this racket. And it is the responsibility of both countries to do something about this. And in that, he sought the cooperation of the United States in finding out more details about these rackets and, if need be, through institutional cooperation between the law enforcement authorities and intelligence organizations of the two countries to actually try and do something about these ecosystems that enable this particular phenomenon. So this is something that the two sides will continue to discuss. On the Tahawur Rana, I think I addressed this in an earlier press conference as well. This is an issue on which the U.S. authorities have taken very clear decisions. I think you've seen the president announce it himself from the White House podium, the decision of the United States to extradite him. It's reflected there in the joint statement as well. We are working on the logistics of this, his surrender and extradition to India. There are a few final steps to be completed. The two sides are in touch on this particular issue. आपका जो प्रश्न था अमेरिका की जो इमिग्रेशन पॉलिसी है उसको लेके और जो यहाँ पे एक इंडस्ट्री है ट्रकिंग वगैरह को लेके उसमें जो उसमें सीजनल लेबर इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है. देखिए, जहाँ तक यहाँ पे ये लेबर किस तरह आ सकता है और इनकी इमिग्रेशन पॉलिसी के साथ कैसे फिट करता है, ये तो अमेरिका की नीतियों का सवाल है. तो वो अगर ऐसी नीति बनाए और हमारे पास ये गुंजाइश हो ऐसे लोगों को भेजने की, तो उसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि एक तरह से ये लीगल मोबिलिटी होगी. और हमने हमेशा कहा है कि हम लीगल मोबिलिटी के पक्ष में हैं, हम इलीगल मोबिलिटी के खिलाफ हैं। लेकिन अगर लीगल मोबिलिटी है, अगर किसी देश की कोई नीति है और उस नीति के तहत लोग वहां पे जाते हैं, बाकायदा वीजा लेके जाते हैं या वर्क परमिट लेके जाते हैं, तो उसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो आगे के आने वाले समय में अगर ऐसी गुंजाइश हुई तो इसके बारे में जरूर दोनों देशों के बीच में बातचीत की जा सकती है। Parikshit, your question on military sales to India, I think. Look, there is a process by which platforms are acquired. You are well aware of that process. There is, in most cases, a request for proposals that is floated. There are responses to those. They are evaluated. I don't think with regard to the acquisition of an advanced aviation platform by India, that process has started as yet. So this is currently something that's at the stage of a proposal, but I don't think the formal process in this regard has started as yet. With regard to the timeline for the bilateral trade agreements, well, this issue was discussed today. There is an understanding that we will try and do it as quickly as possible. I think there is a reference in the joint statement by fall of this year. So we are looking at the next 7 to 8 months to get this done. And today, in a sense, both teams have got the instructions or the indications from the highest levels to start engaging on this, and the work will begin as quickly as possible. On addressing these possible frictions over trade through mechanisms such as I2U2, IMEC and Quad, yes, to the extent that some of those forums will facilitate trade, even though none of them is really a trade agreement or a preferential trading arrangement, but to the extent that they can increase understanding between the various partners, they would certainly be helpful. On what we make of the statement on Bangladesh, well, just to share with you that this was a subject that was discussed between the two leaders, and the Prime Minister shared his views and indeed his concerns with regard to recent developments in Bangladesh and how India sees the situation. I think we hope that the situation in Bangladesh will also move forward in a direction where we can pursue relations in a constructive and stable way with them. But there are concerns about that situation, and the Prime Minister shared those views with President Trump. I think your question about the offer to mediate between India and China, I suspect you know the answer to this question. We have whatever issues we have with any of our neighbors. We have always adopted a bilateral approach to dealing with these issues. It's no different between India and China. We have been discussing any issues that we have with them on a bilateral plane, and we will continue to do so. On reciprocal tariffs and what the fate will be, look, we have indicated, and the two leaders have agreed today to start discussing trade and tariff-related issues. So I will let those discussions start before pronouncing on what may happen with regard to the plans that have been announced today by the US administration. On reducing deficit through energy purchases, well, I mean, we are a significant purchaser of U.S. energy in any case. I think last year we purchased about $15 billion in U.S. energy output. There is a good chance that this figure will go up to as much as $25 billion in the near future. And so therefore we are a significant producer, and today's discussions did focus considerably on the possibility of more energy purchases. And it is entirely possible that these increased energy purchases will contribute to impacting the deficit between the two countries as well. On extradition, yes, there are other requests as well. I won't go into the names immediately, but there are other requests that are registered with the U.S. authorities. I think the other questions were also essentially on tariffs, and I think Chidu's question on tariffs being a discordant note. Look, I would say that, we've been hearing about tariffs for quite some time. And in today's discussion between the two sides, this issue came up quite normally in the talks between the two leaders. They both had their perspectives, but what's more remarkable is, or what's worth looking at, is the fact that we have a way forward on this issue in terms of the undertaking to discuss or start discussions on a bilateral trading agreement. And this may actually be a very good opportunity to take forward something and conclude something which was actually foreseen in the first Trump administration. There was, you would recall, a trade deal that was on the anvil at that time. For various reasons, it did not go forward at that time. So therefore, in the current environment, we see these developments as an opportunity to take this issue forward and come to a mutually beneficial understanding about these particular issues.